Welcome back. This video will provide an overview of the supplier's order form module. Before we begin, I'm going to give you a brief introduction of the supplier's module and how it came about. In my own practice many years ago, after an open house or a busy time, I saw a lot of order forms on my desktop and a lot of ear impression boxes, and I just got tired of filling out order forms, and I thought there had to be a better way. So rather than fill out an audiogram on a small form, I thought it'd be great to just be able to have an audiogram merge right onto the order form itself from the manufacturer. Back then, I took the actual order forms from the manufacturers I was working with, and I reproduced them in HearForm so that they could be filled out automatically. For example, the bill to, ship to, the audiogram, the patient name, date of birth, and then some of the ordering information. Well, that worked out pretty well for a while, but order forms have a much shorter shelf life now. As you know, the manufacturers come out with a new product quite often, and we really hope that manufacturers are willing to get on board with us and add their own order forms in here and allow us to make this system even more powerful. But this system still does work in a very generic sort of way, so I'll show you how it works and you can decide for yourself if there's any value for your practice. I'm now at the supplier ordering portal, and you can see I have a little bit of a history here for the patient, a new order form, a repair and remake form, and then another new order form here. But let's talk about how to go ahead and create that new order form and how it looks. So I'm going to click this button here, New Form, and then I'm going to choose, let's just choose a ear mold. And when I do that, I'm going to have to put this window back into perspective here. But I'm taken to one of 5 different kinds of forms screens that are in this module: the order form, the ear mold, repair, return for credit essentially, and loss and damage. So on this particular screen, it's very similar to the others. I can set up my generic kind of products and services here by hitting the word edit here. I can add my own choices, and so you can decide what kind of earplugs. You can even change the name of the title here if you want, and we can train you on how to do that better in layout mode. But you can basically put your own choices in here. I'll just do some random things here if you don't mind. And I'm just choosing things that may not work well together, but I'm just doing this real quick. So you can see I can very easily put that information in. Now, the impression numbers are not appropriate yet, but we hope that working with manufacturers, if you're going to use 3D scanning of the ear canal, that you'll be able to put a number in there that's generated by the unit, and that way you wouldn't even have to ship ear impressions with your orders. But again, that may be a bit dated right now based on current technology, so we can look at that down the road, but that's why that's there. Again, you can put in additional information right here. I'll just continue. I could put in a bill to or a ship to right there, shipping information, venting options if desired, special options, etc. So I can put all of that information in here, and then notice that there's hearing aid information in here. I can hide or show that if I'm going to order hearing aids, or maybe the manufacturer wants to see what type of device that particular hearing aid is. So you can either hide or show those. And then you just want to make sure that some of this other information is filled in if necessary. I'm going to send that, for example, I don't have to put the supplier name on there, but that might come in handy. Any comments you want to put right here. My bill to and ship to came in automatically just because I chose it over here. It populated this area for me, and please see the other video about how to set up your bill to and ship to information. Finally, I can preview this form. I can print it to PDF. I could print 1 or 2 copies down here. I can fax it to the fax number set up in the setup area for that particular supplier. I can email it, and then I can go to the actual form. Well, let's just preview it and take a quick look at that form. And as you can see, it puts ear mold form at the top, the patient's name and their age, your bill to and ship to, along with your account number information there. Any warranty information, the hearing aids are on there, and all the choices that I put in there are automatically there. There are no comments, but the audiogram may not be necessary for just simple ear molds, but just in case they're there, both in a visual format and a graph, and also the numbers themselves here. So you can very easily print out an ear mold form. Let's go over to the order form. Very similar, just different choices. So I can say I want this and this and this. And again, you can set up all your own choices in here. This is not as good as using the actual order form that's perhaps on the manufacturer's website. Again, this is older technology. Before, frankly, 25 years ago when we started this part, websites didn't exist for manufacturers, so it wasn't a factor back then. But many of our customers still use this, and we hope to expand it even further in the next year or two as manufacturers hopefully get on board with us with being able to scan barcodes and some other things like that. Let's preview this document. Again, now it says order form, and all that information that I just put in there is available there. Very similar. The repair, I can say here's what the condition was, and here's a defective component, what's broken, and I can put in all my own options on my own choices there. And then again, when I preview that, it's a slightly different document. It's a repair form, and I could have hidden one of those hearing aids, but this is what's going back to the manufacturer. And again, it's just easier than having to manually put in an audiogram on a form. Finally, let's look at the return or the loss and damage. These are just very easy if you're going to return something or return it for credit or exchange it or something like that. Then you have that ability to do that, and we'll preview that, and it's a slightly different document here. But I think you get the idea that this is a generic form area that manufacturers will accept in most cases. I worked for a manufacturer for 10 years, and I remember going to the order department, bringing this up to them, and the manager said, frankly, we will take the order on a paper towel if we need to. They just want it to be clear and legible, and that's one of the benefits of being able to send out a form like this, is that there are fewer mistakes made when it's very clear, so there's not any scribbling or anything like that. It would be even better, of course, to be able to click a button and email that, not as a PDF, but as actual text data that goes right to the computer. It doesn't need any input from the manufacturer. So if you would, please ask your representative to consider and motivate the decision makers at their manufacturer, their company, to consider working with HearForm and perhaps some of our competitors to make this ordering process all the much easier. I'm going to go back to the supplier portal, and you can see now I have an additional order right here, and I can change the status. Let me go back here real quick. I can change the status of that. And what's nice about this is that if you order, for example, a couple of hearing aids or an ear mold or anything else, and later the device comes in differently than you expected, you can always review and look, and you see, I did order that directional microphone or that Libby horn or whatever it is that you knew that you had ordered but may not have arrived. So this is really a nice visual. It's a historical way of finding out what was ordered, when it was ordered, perhaps who did it. And you might find this to have some value, but please work with us to encourage manufacturers to take the next step and make the whole process even more modern. Thanks very much for watching.